I will say this, just to paint a nice and shiny picture. Boise State is 8-1. They're undefeated in Mountain West Conference play. They're in first place, and they're ranked 19th in the country. So
okay, so thanks.
All we need to talk about, right?
Yeah,
wait, Tom, come back.
Okay.
Come back. I wish that was it. They survived the game last night. A scare from Wyoming. It's kind of funny because after the game, you felt like there was a lot that was left to be desired with this football team. We'll mention too, and I don't even know if we've talked about this yet. Wyoming was 6-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And they have a great defense.
Yeah.
But, you could say, if you watch Brian Harson's entire press conference, and you guys were there, he is concerned.
Yeah.
He's concerned about the offense, concerned about the offensive line, which has still not reached its potential, is massive potential. And now we're down to 3 games left in the regular season.
This is the game-winning field goal. I guess I should say the go-ahead field goal, and this is the miss that allowed Boise State to walk out of Albertson Stadium with a 20-17 victory over the Cowboys.
And the celebration on the field was pretty amazing. Yeah. The team rushing the field, it was an exhilarating moment. I think it was just relief, extreme relief on the part of the Broncos. All of their hopes and dreams could have been dashed in one fell swoop there.
I really go back to what you said last week on this show, Tom, and that was Boise State knows that they're going to get everybody's best shot. So why can't the Broncos give everybody their best shot?
Right, and we have not seen that.
And that continues to kind of be a great way to sum this up, I think.
I think kind of summing up what you just said and what Tommy has said, they're operating at a level that's about here.
Yeah.
Potential, especially during this time of the season, is up here.
Yeah.
They're not there right now.
Yep. And I think that that's probably the biggest concern, I would say, or even a little bit of a disappointment, is that you want to get better as the season goes along, and you really want to work to a day where you peak. And it seems like they've just kind of plateaued in certain areas, and they're having a tough time making that next step.
Yeah, they're treading water a little bit. And I think these last 3 games of the regular season are going to tell the tale. New Mexico, it's going to be hard to tell. They have to win that game.
Boise State's nearly a 4-touchdown favorite in
right.
that
But
contest.
then Utah State and Colorado State. Utah State, they're showing signs of the old Utah State, especially last night at Fresno State. Then Colorado State, which had a bye this week, they won 3 in a row. And so, they're one of the hotter teams in the league.
Kind of the point that even I was trying to make, Tom, is that you look at Utah State and they are getting better, and Jordan Love had his best game of the year, and the month of November is here, and they have some big games ahead, and they're still playing for a Mountain Division title, really. And so that one in Logan's going to be a big one. But Boise State does have to get through New Mexico first. And I think we at least have to ask the question, who's under center for Boise State?
Right.
Because Chase Cord got the start last night.
And that was the big surprise. I mean, Hank Bachmeier, he came back against San Jose State, finished the game, and he met the media for the first time this week. So everybody thought all was well until pregame warmups last night.
I know I might have the unpopular opinion here, but I think if Hank Bachmeier isn't 100% healthy, Chase Cord starts again against New Mexico this Saturday, strictly because you'll be completely fine with Chase Cord operating your offense against a team like New Mexico. They enter this one on a 6-game losing streak. They've struggled all season long. You don't have Hank Bachmeier. I don't think you have to worry here. I think you rest him up as much as you possibly can.
I get what you're saying, and I think that you still have confidence in Chase Cord, despite the fact that the offense hasn't quite hit full stride when he has started. But that's a dangerous preposition there, because if Boise State comes out and they're stagnant again, I mean, you almost feel like you hit the panic button even earlier. And I know that it was years ago, 2015. But there's no way that game doesn't still linger in the minds of some of those players, at least a little bit, when New Mexico was a 31-point underdog and they won on the blue.
That will come up this week.
It will.
Yes. And with Bachmeier, he came back against San Jose State. So you think, well, was it a throwing shoulder injury at San Jose State, and is that lingering? Well, when he came back into the game in the late third quarter, fourth quarter, he was 3 for 3 for 46 yards before they shut it down and went to the run the entire time. So he was throwing the ball after he came back in at San Jose State. You just wonder what's going on.
One thing that could certainly help Chase is probably some better play up front by the offensive line.
Yes.
And turning to our in-house former offensive lineman.
Let's go, baby.
I'll let you take it from here.
I would like to review the film, but obviously, okay, Wyoming's rush defense was fantastic entering last night's matchup. They showed why they had their way against Boise State's offensive line and offensive front for a majority of the game last night. And obviously, that's not what you want to see if you're Coach Harsin or his offensive staff, but tip your cap to Wyoming. But at the same time, there's so much experience returning on that starting offensive line for Boise State. You got to be wondering. I mean, this is a point in the season where
You should be
put up
hitting-
or shut up.
Yeah,
You got to be progressive. Yeah.
And Brian Harsin singled that out last night. He talked about that. And the thing about the offensive line that concerned me last night was, handling Wyoming's blitz, because Wyoming was blitzing a lot. And Chase Cord got knocked into next week last night. I was
couple of
amazed he
times.
got up off the turf a couple of times. And if Hank Bachmeier had played last night, he may have not made it.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially because he has been dealing with an injury.
yeah. So it was a tough sledding.
Finally, I'll just say a big night from Khalil Shakir. Will said on the pregame show, get him touches.
7.
He had 9 of them
Yep.
in the game, and he made the most of them. He scored the game-tying touchdown. He was a big-time spark for the offense. Tom, the Lobos on Saturday. We'll see you then.
All right.
And hopefully a
Next
week
time.
from now we still
One
have good
more
news to talk
time.
about. 9-1 potentially.
Yeah.
Still got to get through the Lobos. Stick around. More to come on Sunday Sports Extras. We dip down to the prep level, recap the high school state playoffs next.